I'm Erica Kane.
I'm Erica Kane.
I'm Erica Kane.
I'm Erica Kane.
It's a great honor to be here tonight in the spotlight where I was born to be.
I'm Erica Kane. That's enough said.
For Susan Lucci.
Did you always want to be an actress your whole life when you were a little kid?
I always wanted to be an actress, really since I can remember. Since I can remember, the earliest things I did was make up stories and act out all the parts, do all the voices, all the costumes.
Were you a big TV kid, too?
Huge TV kid. I love that you remember everything. It's so much fun to hear you sing the theme songs and remember all the characters' names. I also didn't sleep much, so I stayed up really late even though I was put to bed.
Right.
I'd sneak back out and I'd take the pillow, and my parents' TV was on their far wall, so I could lay in the hallway and watch TV until they went to bed. They didn't know I was there, but I could watch a lot more.
Oh, really? They never knew. So you were watching the primetime late thing.
The late things, yep. I was watching, a lot of late things that I guess I wasn't supposed to see, but I loved it. I just couldn't.
Did you always see yourself as a star, as an actress?
Truth, yes, I did. I always did. And anyone who goes into this business, especially from a small town, is probably told, don't go into the business. It's a hard business, a tough business, a lot of rejection. Don't do it. And yes, all of that is true. But if you're one of them who does do it, it's because you need it to breathe. It's just who you are.
I hate you!
That's right. For more than 4 decades, Susan Lucci has played the same role.
You don't know who I am?
The indomitable, insatiable, the incomparable Erica Kane.
Oh, at last I have found the career for which I was born.
Well, it's been my whole adult life, basically, but I haven't stayed out of any hardship for myself. It hasn't been a sacrifice for me to continue playing Erica Kane. I've loved this part. She's capable of saying or doing just about anything.
I just want them to know everything there is to know about me. How I grew up lonely and misunderstood, really, and I arose among the weeds and everything.
Born to parents of Swedish and Italian descent, Lucci was raised in Garden City, Long Island.
Brownies and Girl Scouts and friends and ice skating on the pond and proms and school plays. It was all here.
And right from the start,
When I was about 3, I used to sing something from Damn Yankees called Whatever Lola Wants, Lola Gets.
an omen.
That's how we knew I'd grow up to play Erica Kane.
You graduated from college in 1968, and then you started pounding the pavement.
Yes.
And one casting director warned you and said you might be too...
I was told I was probably too ethnic looking, and I probably wouldn't work on TV because they were mostly looking for blondes or redheads, blue eyes at least.
Yet the 24-year-old actress landed a part in a new soap opera, All My Children, and made her debut as Erica Kane on January 5th, 1970.
When did you find out that you got the part?
It was November. We started on the air in All My Children January of 1970. So the November before, I was auditioning, and I think it was the very end of November. It was freezing, it was raining. I was sitting in the lobby. I'd been married for a couple of months. I was just about to turn 22. Sitting in that lobby, my husband was gonna pick me up, and Bud Kloss, the producer, just after my screen test, walked through that lobby. He was leaving for the day, and he saw me sitting there, and he turned around with a smile and kind of a devilish look in his eye, and he said, "We'll be talking to your agent in the morning." So I kind of thought I probably got it then.
How about you, Susan Lucci? When you graduated from college, what happened to you that kept you from having to do commercials to get into this business? It seems as though you really didn't have to pay any price in struggling. You're there. Is that fair to say?
I guess to a certain extent. I mean, each of us has our own struggling, you know what I mean? And maybe I didn't have to struggle for any length of time, but
But I remember making rounds very well, meeting agents, trying to find out how to even go into the business. I didn't even know Manhattan, although I grew up an hour away on Long Island. I had never really been into New York alone, and I grew up in a small town where everybody who said good morning, I said good morning back to.
Oh, nice.
And I remember my parents' big thing was, don't smile back at anybody in New York. You know, they were
afraid.
They
for
were
you.
a little concerned. But I was just extremely lucky. I was in the right place at the right time, and I must say I had the training too. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, I can't tell you the number of people who lean over to me on a train and say, gee, I used to act in high school. I'd love to do this. This is a part-time job, isn't it? And we work, as you know, in television, very strenuous hours. I mean, 12, 14, 16, 22 hours a day, back-to-back days, and plus the memorizing of 40 to 60 pages of dialogue a day. It's a lot, you know, it's a lot to do.
A lot of work.
And I think anybody who's done well on daytime television has had training behind them.
Two things. The last time you were in town, Harvard voted you Best Actress of the Year.
Yes, yes.
And I saw it in action. I want to share with our viewers this morning. You walked into the studio, we handed you a piece of copy, and in 30 seconds you made it come alive. Is it easy for you to do that, or is it because of training? What is it?
Oh, I think it's because of training, but I also think being able to do it quickly has to do with working in television. We do an hour show a day. Nighttime takes a week to do an hour show.
So you're constantly perfecting your craft.
Yes, and working quickly.
As well. Tell us a story about how you got your break as Erica Kane. How did you get that part?
Oh, you know, it's kind of a long story, but I'll try to cut to the chase. I had met the casting director about 6 months before they were even going to do a show called All My Children. She said, we'll call you when we're going to be doing it. I hoped she meant it. She did call. I almost didn't go to meet the casting director. My hair, you can't tell now, but it's naturally curly. And it was a really hot, sticky summer day, humid in New York City in July. My hair was so curly, so I put a scarf around it backwards, and I almost didn't even go. And can you imagine how stupid I would have been? Thank you. So I met the casting director, and there really was a series of being called back. And the second time I was called back, they asked me to read a scene, and I read with Fra Heflin, who played Mona, my mother. From day one, we were paired together. And then on my fifth callback, which was the final callback, they put me on camera on tape, and Agnes Nixon watched. And what Agnes told me later is that when she saw me on camera, she said, "That's Erica."
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever become Erica when you're home? Does it ever seep into you? Like, you know? No, really, like you're there and you're yourself, and then all of a sudden you just turn into that bitch.
There are times when I think they just knew what I was really like at home, and they said, "You, come over here and play this part."
No,
there are
not
days.
really.
No, I think there's some Erica in all of us, you know, and certainly there are days when I'm like that, and I can feel it coming on, and I think, "Oh, I better get out of here, because I'm going to be really miserable." And sometimes I stay, and then there are fireworks, but we make up.
Yeah, the making up part.
That's the good part.
You really explode? Do you really explode? You got a temper?
I do. I really do. I've been trying very hard to keep it under control and get better about it, and I am. But when it explodes, it really goes.
Yeah,
and
what?
I only throw the good things, unfortunately.
Oh, the expensive things?
Always.
What, do you pick them up? Look? No, not enough.
No, it's like a magnet. Lalique. Throw
Oh,
it.
yeah. Oh, yeah, really? Oh, jeez.
It's our first year, so I thought I would get a clip of your first year.
Oh, no.
As Erica Kane.
Oh, no.
On All My Children. I watched the first year. I'm telling you I did. I've watched it since the beginning, and this is, I believe, the original Chuck.
It would be, yes,
Take a
the
look.
first year. Oh,
Take
my
a look.
goodness.
All My Children, first year.
I don't want to be down anywhere with the rest of you. I want to be special, and I'm going to be.
What you're gonna be is miserable if you keep expecting everybody to fall in line with your ways.
Hey, are we having a hamburger or another attack on Erica?
Do you have to be the one that everybody likes best to make sure that they like you at all?
Yes.
Thank you.
And you look so great. You do.
Oh, thank you.
You really
Thank
do.
you.
Now, what about the hair back then? Isn't that funny?
Oh, I remember I'd go in there. I was so shy. And when I was on probation, we were all kids on the show. We're all on probation for the first 5 shows. So we were nervous anyway, but then to know you're on probation. I didn't open my mouth, so I'd go and sit in the hair room, and they would tease my hair way up and put false eyelashes on me. And I kept saying, but she's 15. Do you think that we should do that?
Yeah, right.
Yes, yes, she's that kind of girl. And she was that kind of girl, that's for sure.
She still is. Now, you that was your first acting job, really, right?
Yes, my first professional acting
You were
job.
nervous, weren't you?
Oh, I was terrified. I didn't come out of my dressing room for 8 years.
Yeah.
Just Frau Heflin and I shared a dressing room, Frau who played Mona. And thank God, she was wonderful. We auditioned together. We had our first audition together, and they paired us together from day one. So she was always
played your
calming me
mom.
down.
She was great.
She was great.
For many years, I worked with Agnes Nixon only through what I was seeing, what I was reading. And what I was reading, oh my goodness. I was reading such incredible material. I saw Agnes the first time at that last audition, the fifth audition. I saw out of the corner of my eye this petite, very pretty blonde woman running quickly down the hallway in the studio. And it was the first time, I remember what she was wearing. It was the first time I ever saw a successful New York City woman wearing the clothes that I had only seen in fashion magazines. She was wearing like a cocoa brown Yves Saint Laurent pantsuit, and I knew that because I had just seen it when I was in college, just before that, in a fashion magazine, and she was carrying like a cappuccino bag, alligator bag. And I thought, wow, that's Agnes Nixon, wow. There was not much, personal contact, and I was told that Agnes preferred to see on camera what she saw, and what she saw on camera then fed her part of her creative juices, to go ahead and write the story.
So what was it about Susan that screamed Erica Kane to you?
Well, of course, she was gorgeous, as she still is. But the audition night, was that when you were putting on the mascara?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, you see, I wanted someone who was feisty and didn't pay any attention to her mother, as I had to do growing up all my life, be a very good daughter. So instead of studying, she was putting mascara on. And Mona said, "Don't you think you should be studying?" "No." And I knew that there she was.
Go back to how you met, because I love this story, and I know you've told it to us before, but maybe some of our audience missed it. It's a great story.
Okay, well, basically we met when I was working for him, when I was 17, and Helmut was almost 30, and I wasn't allowed to go out with him because he was an older man, and my parents didn't want any of that. But I got engaged to somebody else in the meantime, and that was a few years later, and we were back at the same place having the engagement party, and Helmut happened to be in the hotel that night. And because of the age difference, my parents knew him too, and they asked him to join us at our table at the hotel for the party. So Helmut sat across from me all night at my engagement party to somebody else, and Helmut leaned over to my mother that night and said, "This thing between Susie and this boy is never going to last." And my mother said she thought he was right. Nobody said anything to me, for about 6 months. And I was thinking that I shouldn't be getting married to the guy next to me, since I wanted to get to know Helmut much better. We had this big attraction that night. Anyway, I broke my engagement a couple months later. Helmut found out the next day and called me up, and he was so funny. And he knew he was funny. I mean, he called me up and he asked me out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And he would like sneak it up on me. We'd be out for lunch, and then he'd say, "Let's take a walk." We'd take a walk. Then he'd say, "Want to have a drink?" Then we'd stay for drinks. Then it was dinner, Anyway. And after 3 months, on the second date, he asked me to marry him. He said, "I'm not trying to rush you, but..."
Oh, no. Second date.
Second date, after 3 months, because I didn't know what I wanted. I really was just out of school. I had no idea. He said, "You are the slowest woman I have ever met in my entire life." And And then, so then I did say I would marry him, and then we got married.
I want to know why this marriage to Helmut has managed to succeed and to last when in this business it doesn't often happen. What makes him so special?
He's got a great sense of humor, and he's very intelligent, and he's very secure. He's very sure of himself.
I was thinking he must be, because these love scenes, and your lovers on this show, would drive the average man a little nuts.
Except I must say, whenever we go out, you know, people will stop me and say, well, now I know why you go home to him. I mean, he's better than anybody I've ever been with.
But he is secure to watch this and put up with it and not have it worry him, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And I often say if it was the other way around, I would never be like that. Oh, I couldn't stand it.
Helmut was always very decisive. He said he wanted to marry me very early on, maybe the third date. I was newly out of college and I really didn't know really my own mind. But Helmut was very patient with me. We got engaged after 3 months. It is not a long time, and Helmut kept saying to me, you are the slowest woman I've ever met.
And so I worked as a waitress at the Garden City Hotel. You know the Garden City Hotel on Long Island. But I learned after about a minute and a half I'd rather be the hostess than the waitress. But that happened to be Helmut's last year there. So he was really my boss. And I had never been a waitress, and I didn't know how exactly to hold the trays, and it was a very beautiful, beautiful restaurant operation. And I had to be very professional, and I didn't know how. And Helmut would just scold me, you know, young lady, your skirts are too short, you're not a tea bobby, you're a young lady, you don't know how to hold a tray. And then he would wiggle his ears at me with his chef's thing. You know, he would wiggle his ears, and I would say to the other college kids, who is that? And he's your boss, stupid. And I would say, well, what's his name? And they said, Helmut Huber. And I said, is that one name? Is that one of those hyphenated names? You know, so
with his European charm.
Yes, absolutely.
Susan showed up. I go, wow. You know, it was amazing, but there was a big age difference at the time. In the meantime, she got engaged to another fella. Can you imagine that?
My parents had my engagement party here at the Garden City Hotel, and we ran into Helmut in the hallway. My mother said, oh, Helmut, we're having Susan's engagement party. Why don't you join us? And he said he would come for dessert and coffee. I was thinking at the time, he is much more attractive than I even knew, and I shouldn't be feeling like that. Something is wrong with this picture, but I didn't know what to do about it. Helmut turned to my mother.
Yes, what I told her, I said, she needs a man, not a boy. And she was smart enough to realize that after a while.
Sometimes I think there's a reason why I played Erica Kane, why they cast me in that role. I mean, not to sound cliche, but Helmut honestly really just swept me off my feet. Helmut would take me to my acting classes and bring me home, and then he would have to go to work in the morning, then he'd drive back to the city. And my father said to my mother, if Susan keeps seeing this man, he's going to make her marry him.
He was a smart man.
Fortunately, I came to my senses and realized how fabulous this man was who was trying to convince me. One night, we were in the sun porch of my parents' home. Helmut realized that I was cold. He took his socks off and put his socks on me. This is somebody spectacular. That night in the sun porch when he said he'd like to marry me, I told him that I would like to marry him too.
And here we are.
We've been married for 49 years.
You know, you have to be lucky to find someone who you love. It's the kind of person who is absolutely fantastic in every facet of life, and Susan is that.
I feel so lucky too that Helmut is so secure, and I always look to him because he's very smart. I'm not even going to say supportive. It's so beyond that. It's involved, you know, it's hands-on, really there with me.
And to love somebody like that, that doesn't happen that often. And if it does happen, it's the most wonderful thing in the world.
You have, obviously, an enormity of talent. Is Erica enough?
I know that I'm supposed to feel like I'm typecast and all of that. I don't think I can ever leave Erica. I'm sure that I will always be associated with this part. And it doesn't bother me. I love the part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it hasn't hindered me in the business. It took me a while to get a part that wasn't the brat. And I guess the part was worth waiting for, because the part in Mafia Princess almost has no basis in comparison to Erica Kane or any of the other parts I've been given to play. And because that part had so much scope and range to it, I think itself made such an impression on people. Well, it's one of the top 3 movies ever made for television in terms of ratings. And the feedback has been tremendous to me. So that also made a huge impression, and it's the exact opposite of the kind of part I play here. I love doing movies. I love it all. I love being in the Winnebago at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
Yeah, I love all that. And I love the camaraderie, and I love the beginning, the middle, and the end. But I also love to do a good part. I mean, Erica is a spectacular part. And I would like the opportunity to do other good work, as I had the opportunity in Mafia Princess.
You ever get tired of Erica and being Erica?
I must say, I never get tired of Erica. That's the one thing I don't get tired of. I get tired of the hours. You know,
they're strange hours. We don't realize what time you go to work.
I went to bed at 7 o'clock this morning. I worked from 7:30 yesterday morning till 7 o'clock this morning. The hours are very strange.
Yeah, 24 hours a day, I say, is a strange work.
It's not always that, thank God. You know, that's impossible. But it's mostly 12 or 14. So the hours I get really tired of, but the character never.
You like her?
Yeah, so she's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, she is. I wouldn't want to live with her, but she's a lot of fun.
21 years playing Erica, and she continues to rise like a phoenix out of every disaster.
Yes,
Do you still like her?
I love her. I love playing her. Obviously, I can't walk away from her. I'm still there. And having a great time. I mean, Agnes Nixon still comes up with always something new and better, and more exciting and more fun.
Well, after 28 years on the show, Lucci still looks just as glamorous as ever, and she has no plans on quitting Erica Kane anytime soon.
She's a wonderful part, and that's really what's kept me here. She's a very difficult part to walk away from.
Lucci looking good and going into, what, the 31st year on All My Children?
It is. It's unbelievable, but true. Yes, it is. And the show is in such good shape. It's such a wonderfully written show. So when I'm off, I get to watch it. I mean, it's really something that I love.
34 years. Will you ever leave? You know, every time, this is going to sound so like Pollyanna, but every time it's time for me to think about it, when we start to talk about a new contract, I do, if I was unhappy, I would leave, but I'm really happy.
Still kind of happy. What has it been like for you playing her for over 40 years?
I know. It's been great. Clearly, I can't walk away from Erica Kane. You know, I've been there and having so much fun, and yeah, continues to be a good time.
How many years were you on All My Children?
Since 1970, I think it was 42.
Did you ever miss a call time because you overslept?
I never missed a call time. I might have given some stress to hair and makeup also because one morning I know my clock, the batteries must have run out in the middle of the night, so I was running late in New York City traffic.
Yeah.
I live about an hour and a half outside of Manhattan, so hair and makeup had to double team really fast, but we made it.
How about the glamorous side of Erica? Susan Lucci is also very glamorous.
Thank you.
I mean, is that a part that you play on and off, or do you consider yourself a very glamorous woman in real life?
Well, if I didn't have to give babies baths, things like that, I would love to dress the way Erica does at home, but I can't work gold lame into my life at noon.
It's difficult, isn't it? Yes, with a 2-year-old, it must be tough.
It is, but I love clothes and have always since I was a little girl. I mean, I love fashion. I love that whole industry. And yeah, glamorous inside, and
so doing
love
this is
to dress.
kind of a fantasy then, to dress as Erica does.
Oh yes, it's fun.
Susan, over the years, we have seen you in so many fashions, and you are such a fashion icon. You know, you and I remember watching this back in Chicago, and you would wear so many wonderful things. How have you know, influenced fashion, Erica Kane?
Oh, well, it's been so much fun. I mean, again, this is, you know, Agnes Nixon's writing that took us out of the studio. All My Children, I believe, was the first to go on location. And for me, even if it was in our own city that we were working in, the Metropolitan Museum and Lincoln Center and all those clothes, I'm 5'2" on a good day. You know, so to get to play a high fashion model was very exciting, and it introduced this whole world of glamour to daytime television as well, which was very, very fun to be part of.
Hi, I'm Susan Lucci, and we're about to play Red Carpet Recall. So let's look back at some of my most memorable looks. I feel great in leather. The black leather dress I did have to actually shimmy in. I was really fasting for 2 days before to make sure that I could even shimmy into it. I was worried if at any time during the evening I had to shimmy out of it, would I ever be able to shimmy back into it? A sapphire blue, kind of lit from within, Panay velvet, very shimmery, because we just couldn't be glamorous enough in the 80s. Obviously, this was an Erica Kane moment. I'm sure we all thought it was really good at the time. This is a Dolce cocktail dress. She probably was just hanging out at home in this. This gown is just one of my very favorite gowns I have ever had. This is Zach Posen. I love the way he cuts. His things fit me very well. This was actually one of my very favorites of all time, and it wasn't that long ago. This was the Elton John benefit, but I have to tell you, it was raining sideways that night. To be in a gown and hope that your hair stays in place, it was very challenging, but it worked out. Well, this is a dress that means a great deal to me, this gown that I wore when I did win the Emmy. On my 19th try, just saying. This gown was from Bachelor Mishka, and I just loved it. I had put it away for such safekeeping that I couldn't find it. And just recently, I was able to find it. This does not mean giving up. It just means too much to me.
I loved the fashion. I always loved fashion. My mother handed me a 17 magazine this summer. I was 11 and a half. She said, I think you'll like this. She was right. I did. And my grandmother and my mother both always loved fashion and taught me a lot. But in any case, loved Erica Kane's fashion, loved the same clothes. The only difference was that I would wear these Dolce & Gabbana dresses to a cocktail party, and Erica would wear them on the plane. So that was the difference.
And how about her hair?
Oh my goodness, the hair. When I look at the clips of all my children throughout the time, it's like a history lesson in hair. There are times that my hair got so big during the 80s, I don't know how they got me on a TV screen. I don't know how they fit me in a frame. But those were the times, and I guess you had to fill out from your shoulder pads your hair, so I don't know. And large earrings.
Did you have a favorite style from all those years?
Not the late 80s. That was not good. I think I always felt like now is better. Now is better.
Starting in 1978, Lucci was nominated for a Daytime Emmy as Outstanding Dramatic Actress 6 out of the next 8 years, and lost each time.
This entire award ceremony today was one of the people who did not win, and that was Susan Lucci, who plays Erica on Search for Tomorrow. This was the 7th year that you were nominated and the 7th that you did not win.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
To begin with, I am thrilled to have been nominated. This is a group of very talented people. I see their work all year long, and the fact that they think that my work is worthy of notice is a tremendous honor to me. I would be silly if I said I didn't want to win. I'd much rather come here as a nominee and a winner. You know, I'd love that.
But to your credit, we all noted that you did not duck the cocktail party. You came and you're talking with everybody. Is your heart hurting?
I can't say that it's hurting. I really can't. On top of it, it's very much easier to lose to someone like Erica Slezak. I mean, she's a wonderful actress. I vote for her every year. So, what can I say?
Do you think it is because the character you play is so hateful? Do you think it's because you're so good at your work that the hate sort of spills over?
Ooh, that's a good possibility. I don't know. But Erica has her vulnerable moments, too. And fortunately for me, I've been able to have a great range within the character. And, well, someday if I win, I'll thank everybody who made that possible.
Thank you. And we hope we're here when that happens. Thank you very much.
As the losses piled up, the Daytime Emmys picked up on the story. By the time of her 8th fruitless nomination in 1987, Susan Lucci was the talk among perennial winners.
Our next presenter is the lady I've envied and hated and admired since the day I started following All My Children. The wicked, scheming, gorgeous Erica Kane. Here is Susan Lucci.
By the late 1980s, as Lucci's Emmy snubs grew to double figures, she became so famous for losing that she landed commercial endorsements and even hosted Saturday Night Live.
I don't think the Daytime Emmy Awards got any attention for a very long time. And then I found myself, I think the 12th, 13th, 14th time, tuning in because, you know, it can't go on.
As more Lucci watchers tuned in, the Daytime Emmys wasted no opportunity exploiting her notoriety.
Tonight marks the 12th time this talented actress has been honored by her peers with an Emmy nomination. 12 times. Who could I possibly be talking about? From All My Children, here is Susan Lucci.
Susan Lucci, where are you, Susan? Maybe tonight, please, God. I think that Erica deserves a million Emmys. I mean, just, I tell you.
And I hope you don't mind me bringing it up right now.
No, that's okay. Let's get it out of the way, please.
All right, okay. Despite an amazing number of nominations, all deserved, I might add, one fact remains, and it's on everybody's mind tonight. For some crazy reason, I've never won a Daytime Emmy.
But after 18 nominations, the sideshow seemed to be wearing thin on Lucci. Lucci herself had to wonder, what was she doing wrong?
I'll never know if I knew. I never knew the answer.
You know, I have to bring up Susan 12 times. 12 times. I mean, is there a point where you just want to say, hey, don't nominate me anymore unless I'm going to get it?
Oh, no, I just don't feel like that. I really am happy
When
to be
they
nominated.
don't
I'm
announce
excited.
your name, what do you feel like?
Well, I feel bad. I wish it were me. I'd love to win. But it's not me, and life goes on, and I love Erica Kane. I mean, I do feel so lucky. I never feel like I didn't win. I can't explain that to you.
You still go back to the best job in television, as you say.
I feel that way.
Have you always gone in every year with something in mind to say in case you won, or did you quit that long ago, or did you ever do that?
Oh, yes, I always have had in mind something that I might like to say. There have been so many wonderful people in my career. I must say after the 9th nomination that I didn't actually write any more speeches down. I just think about it sometimes towards the end, because if that happy time ever came that I were to win, there would be so many people, I wouldn't want to forget anyone.
What do your children think of you being a celebrity mom? And are there pitfalls or problems that you encounter being a celebrity mom? Do your children ever complain about the fact that mom's always recognized? When we go out as a family, people are going to be coming up to you and asking for your autograph.
It's an interesting question. I probably will never know the answer for the next 10 years at least, you know, or 20 years maybe. I think what we all in my family don't like the most is the separations. That's what's hard. The hours are long, and when I go to do another project, this is the part I am the worst at, is not all being together. I hate the separations, but it's part of being an actress, and so we try to keep them to a minimum. But that's the bad part. As to the other part, is it hard being a celebrity mother? I don't know any different.
Other way.
You know, I've been lucky actress in that I've worked since I got out of school, but I have spent my entire adult life in front of the camera. And so I really don't have anything to compare it to.
And I think your commercial for Sweet One shows what a great sense of humor you have.
Oh, thank you. When they came to me with that, I laughed, and Helmut laughed, and our producer Felicia laughed and said, oh yes, do that if you want to do it, because it's very funny.
Yeah.
And I just think it's great for people to have a laugh about themselves, that's all.
Will you get out of my life?
You probably don't believe this, but there's a sweet side to me. It's called Sweet One. It's the only sweetener I'll use because it has no saccharin, no NutraSweet. Just a great sweet taste. You can even bake with it. Oh, with Sweet One, I've got everything I want. Except that Emmy. 11 years without an Emmy! What does the person have to do around here to get an Emmy?
I know the effect I have on people.
Susan Lucci is clearly a draw. ABC even invested 2 hours of prime daytime for the story of Erica Kane's life. Her fans consistently vote her their favorite daytime actress. Her colleagues repeatedly select her for industry awards. So what is it? After being nominated 9 times, why can't Susan Lucci walk home with an Emmy?
How do you get through that? I mean, do you just not look at television anymore when the Emmys come up?
The fact that those people choose me to be nominated year after year is thrilling to me. I go to those Emmys every year happy. And yes, I get my hopes up. I don't know. I'm just built that way. And I would love to win.
For the past 23 years on All My Children, Erica Kane has been Pine Valley's most popular vixen. She's beautiful, selfish, lovable, and despicable all in one pint-sized character. Actress Susan Lucci is the woman who brings Erica to life each and every day. This year, Lucci has received her 14th Emmy nomination in the Best Actress category. And as almost everyone knows by now, she hasn't won yet.
Press has been very, very kind to me, and Saturday Night Live did a spoof, and we've had a lot of fun with it. I think, you know, as in anything in life, you just go on, but the truth is that I never have meant to make fun of it. I really would love to win, and I consider it a tremendous honor.
Lucci was hosting last year and didn't win. Her colleagues showed their appreciation with this emotional ovation.
Thank you so much.
I made up my mind a long time ago, win or lose, I was always going to go back and play Erica to the best of my ability. That's what I love to do. And I love doing the Emmy show. It's a big celebration for everybody in the industry.
My daughter started watching me not win from the time she was 4 years old, and my son wasn't even born yet. And I didn't win till she was out of college.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So,
because so many times people want to give up, and that's what I'm saying. Share that. So your daughter, what happened?
So when I would go home each time, and as my children then would grow, they would make me something to make me feel better, which was so sweet that they were even, I didn't, that they would be aware. They would make cupcakes or brownies or cookies. Liza one time had made on construction paper, "We love you, Mommy," on each step up to the bedroom. "We love you, Mommy. We think you are the best actress." And these sweet, amazing things from my children, I never would have had I won right away.
Before you actually won the Emmy, there was a lot of joking, a lot of lampooning about it. Were you cool with that?
I was cool with that.
Susan, are you all right? Are you okay?
Maybe we should get you a soda, Susan. Come on, follow me.
I guess she was a little thrown because she never won an Emmy.
Oh, Susan, you're gonna win one. Besides just a statue. Kind of a symbol of excellence.
I mean, I heard some incredible people stand up at award ceremonies and say, well, I guess I'm the Susan Lucci of the Oscars. I guess I'm the Susan Lucci of directors. And, so yes, I mean, I was fine with it.
When you won the Emmy, and you've been asked this a million times, but here you are, 19 years of showing up. I don't know if I would have had the confidence to keep showing up, wondering if I was going to win, but you were so gracious, and I was like, they just want us to watch this Emmy show because they're just playing with us because they know she's the best.
Oh,
what was it like for you, time after time, not getting that recognition?
Well, it's funny. Actually, Judith Barcroft, who played Anne on All My Children when we first began, after about 5 or 6 years, came to me and told me one summer day, she said, Susan, they tell me that we might have Emmys for daytime. And if we do, we're nominated. That's how I found out the first nomination. And then every year, I don't know how the other shows work, but All My Children, there was never any talk about the Emmy from one end of the year to the next. But then when the nominations came out, I mean, it was thrilling. It was like so exciting. And then, the fans would be saying, oh, this is your year, and the press would be saying that. And I was thrilled to be nominated, but
I would get whipped into a frenzy each year too, because the fans were so warm and so passionate.
They were rooting for you.
They were rooting for me, which was another whole aspect to this that I never imagined. I mean, Erica was the bad girl in town. You know, I did not expect to be rooted for.
You had 18 nominations to win the Emmy, and then you didn't win it for a while, and then it became a thing not to win it, because by not winning it, the publicity and the promotion, poor Susan Lucci has not won. Why didn't you win it? You mean you were clearly the best.
You know, I will never know the real answer. And the people who won, I always thought were very good. You know, I couldn't think that they didn't deserve to win. I knew instinctively that it would feel a lot better to win. You know, and I was right. It's fantastic to win. But all of the press leading up to it and also had its pluses. I mean, I couldn't believe that anybody noticed. I mean, it was my thing, you know what I mean? It's my life. I'm not winning. But the fact that the press wrote about it, that the fans care, the outpouring of warmth and rooting for me was incredible. I was playing the bad girl in town. I didn't even know anybody would even care about Erica Kane, let alone if I ever won an Emmy for it. You know what I'm saying?
And when you won it, 4 minutes standing ovation, they went crazy, right?
They did.
Susan, you look exquisite as always, and it's another big night.
Big night.
How do you feel tonight?
I feel thrilled to be here. I feel so happy to be nominated. I can't thank you enough for the lovely things you've written. I really appreciate that very much.
You know, I always write only the truth, Susan.
You're known for that, so I really appreciate it very much. Thank you. And to be here this evening and meet the fans is the highlight for me.
Well, you know, you are #1 with the fans. There's no doubt about it. Whenever you ask anyone, who do you want to win the Emmy, it's Susan Lucci. And you know, Susan, I hope tonight's going to be the night.
Thank you, Mimi. Thank you very much.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but would you like to say anything to your fans, because I know how much they mean to you?
Well, I hope very much that this evening I get to stand on stage and thank my fans properly. But I could never put into words how much your presence means to me. Thank you very much for liking Erica Kane and enjoying watching her.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
You are the best.
Thank you. Take care.
I'll be thinking about you.
I like her.
Oh, what's not to like?
Let's do one more.
And the outstanding diva is... The streak is over, Susan Lucci!
Susan Lucci originated the role of Erica Kane on All My Children when the show premiered in 1970. This is her first win in 19 nominations.
So very much. I truly never believed that this would happen. First of all, I want to thank each and every one of you in this room. This is a room full of such talented, hardworking people. And the fact that you have thought that my work was worthy of notice 19 times is something that I will treasure always. I thank God for the many, many blessings in my life. For parents who always encouraged me to dream my dreams and who have been sitting in every audience of my lifetime, including tonight. For my great teachers, Win Handman, the late Harold Klorman, Ron Wayand and Inez Norman Spires, who were so good at teaching and who helped me to grow. Agnes Nixon, you changed the face of the medium we work in. I am so grateful to have been placed in your hands. Thank you so much for creating the part of Erica Kane and for allowing me to be part of your writing full of such humanity and passion and vision. I have so many people to thank, and they're telling me to wrap it up. Joan Dincheko, the legendary casting director at All My Children, who saw me as more than just an ethnic type and saw that I could play Erica Kane, and for bringing me to Agnes's attention. To the incredible acting company at All My Children, with whom I have the privilege to play these scenes every day. You inspire me. If I'm halfway good, it's because I'm afraid I won't be as good as you. To my children, to Liza and Andreas, I wasn't meant to get this award before tonight, because if I had, I wouldn't have that collection of poems and letters and drawings and balloons and chocolate cakes you made me all this time to make me feel better. To my husband, Helmut Huber, who has been with me every step of the way. And to the fans, I was only supposed to be on every other Tuesday. But thanks to you, I'm here. And I promise I will try my best never to let you down. I'm going back to that studio on Monday, and I'm going to play Erica Kane for all she is worth. Thank you so very much.
Glamorous, sexy, seductive, and Emmy-winning. ABC salutes Susan Lucci,
Thank you so very much.
winner of this year's Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actress in the role of Erica Kane on All My Children.
Well, did you ever doubt it?
Congratulations, Susan.
But certainly the arena erupted, of course. I mean, you had like Rosie O'Donnell, who has said how much soap operas mean to her, and you like, crying. And at one point you said they're trying to wrap me in the entire crowd. There's that shot of Kelly Ripa yelling no. It's obviously such a, what's your lasting memory of that night?
Well, it was just incredible. I didn't think that I'd be able to walk up. I could feel my legs going to jello, and I thought, can I even go up there? And if I'm up there, can I speak? Do I know even where I am? I mean, I was totally blown away. And when I did turn around and saw the industry, who, we're all in the trenches together, and the fact that they would cheer that I won was just, I'll never forget the warmth that was pouring out to me. I didn't expect anything, and I just saw all this cheering, and yes, Kelly asking them not to wrap me so I could thank my children and thank Joan Dincheko, who thought I wasn't so ethnic that I couldn't play Erica Kane.
Thank you so very much.
Susan Lucci and her Emmy Award have had quite a year. Lucky for us, our cameras were there to catch just about everything. Take a look.
Let's go.
Everybody wants to be my friend.
Susan Lucci.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here to welcome all of you to the Daytime Emmy Awards. And it's held in the most beautiful theater in the world, Radio City Music Hall. Before we start, I really do have to set the record straight. I absolutely do not take the Emmy everywhere with me. It's at home where it should be, in the chapel I built for it. At the end of the rotunda, just past the honor guard. Anyhow, we've got lots of awards to hand out, so let's bring out our very first presenters.
Something I'm so excited about, if I may say so, is that I'm going to be launching a Susan Lucci doll at the end of this month, dressed in the gown that I won the Emmy in. Because so many people have come up to me and said such warm and amazing things. And with this doll, which is a porcelain doll, there are included notes that I've written about how I felt that night and how the whole experience has been for me. People from all over this country have told me they were watching in their living rooms and rooting for me, and that just has meant so much to me. So this will be a commemorative doll on the Home Shopping Network.
Now, how's everything going with your All My Children and your doll? Look.
Yes.
Last time you were here, we were talking about this beautiful Erica Kane doll, and what we didn't say was about where part of the proceeds go.
Oh, exactly. This doll's going to be launched next week at FAO Schwartz on November 4th. And part of the proceeds will go to the Little Flower Children's Services of New York.
Or is it wherever dolls are
The
sold?
launch is FAO Schwartz across the country, and then after that it's going to be available at Bloomingdale's and any place where you can buy a collectible doll.
Excellent. You should have all of Erica Kane's husbands, too. Imagine how many dolls you could sell.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
You have to come over here and stand next to her so we can get a real.
Oh, my goodness.
I think she's teenier than you.
Yes.
Or maybe she has bigger hair.
Let me pull this back.
Well, bigger hair is good. Yes. I am actually a little taller. I like that.
Gorgeous. What do you think, Susan?
I think quite amazing. It's just
the
hands. It is a little bit bizarre too. You can imagine.
Oh my gosh, your hands.
It's like skin.
They really texture it like skin.
Look at this. And the nail polish. This is actually my bracelet.
Oh, is it?
And it's actually my dress. This is the dress that wore to the Emmys.
Careful.
Yes.
Don't knock her over. We could lose her head.
These are my earrings. Oh my goodness.
That is gorgeous.
Hair looks good.
The hair looks great, right? It's amazing.
I love
how
it.
They
And
do it. They do insert it individually, one by one, is what we hear.
That's
and
unbelievable.
Apparently, to
I
get the
believe
veins, and even in the eyes, they use a red thread of silk, I believe, in the eyeball, so
Make
that
a
actually
little-
makes it look real.
It's just amazing. There's also, I mean, I hate to say this, but
Say
there's
it.
life in the eyes.
Yes.
You know, I wondered how, I haven't been to Madame Tussauds Wax
Yes.
Museum, so I haven't actually seen
This is
them.
unbelievable.
That was one of the great performance experiences of my life. Also terrifying, you know, much like Saturday Night Live, but it's good to be terrified. It's good to get out of your comfort zone. It's great to do things like that, and I loved it, and I love to dance, and I had a great dancing partner in Tony Dovolani. The only thing that made it more challenging, as if it isn't challenging enough, and it is that I was working in New York at the same time that we were doing Dancing with the Stars on the West Coast. I was doing All My Children in New York. And the thought behind that is that our executive producer didn't want to give me leave of absence to do Dancing with the Stars because, and I understand this, she said, if you're going to bring in a new audience from being on Dancing with the Stars, when they tune All My Children, they want to see you on All My Children. So I understood that, and I had seen Cameron Matheson before me accomplish this, and I thought, okay, and Cameron told me which flights to take. The earliest flight out Saturday morning, go to LA, and take the red eye back Tuesday night. And I did All My Children on Thursday and Friday, as many shows as I could do in 2 days. I had Wednesday off, but we took the red eye back Tuesday night. Tony went to Connecticut for a couple hours. I went home to Long Island. We took a couple hours nap, showered, went back to a dance studio and danced. That was the day we got the most dancing in New York, because otherwise we danced after All My Children finished taping at night in New York. Pretty soon, because we were doing November sweeps with extra special effects and extra material, we had less and less time to dance at night. I was getting really scared. Fly back to LA. And on Thursday, you really had to know the dance because they needed to shoot it without any mistakes in order to know how to produce it, where the camera shots would be, where the lights would be, all of that. So it was pretty terrifying. For myself, I never felt like I had enough rehearsal time. I could learn the dances, I learned the dances, but I never had that extra thing where you get the dance in your body, so that I never felt I could really perform the dances and give them all that was due them. And having said all that, I had the best time. Terrifying when an announcer says live, and now dancing the cha-cha, and they say your name, and but so much fun at the same time. What a great experience.
And you had an injury as well.
Oh, I did, that's true. Maybe it was the 5th dance. It was the jive. And Tony and I were up first for rehearsal in the morning, so the studio was a little bit cold, and my body was not all warmed up yet. I should have probably done a little more working out before I went to that studio in the morning, but I was going through Tony's legs, sliding through on the floor, and I caught my ankle. And it didn't feel so good, but I didn't say anything. I thought, it'll pass. And anyway, it came time for the dress rehearsal, which was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's the jives. There's a lot of jumping from foot to foot and flicks and kicks. And Tony was such a great teacher, and Tony had eyes in the back of his head. So I'm dancing next to him, trying to do these kicks and flicks, and I missed a step. And he said to me, "What's the matter? What's wrong?" And I said, "Nothing," but he knew. He said, "What happened?" And I told him what had happened earlier in the morning. You know, you don't want to also disappoint your dancing partner. They put so much into it. And you do, but you're a team. And he was so wonderful. He said, he picked me up, took me to my trailer, because, it was pretty swollen. My ankle was pretty swollen at the time. The medics came, they took me to Cedars-Sinai, and I did have, actually, I had 2 fractured bones. But I could still do it. And the doctor said to me, he takes care of dancers and athletes, and he said, "I see that look in your eyes." He said, "You can dance, aren't you?" I said, "I really want to, and as long as I can take it, I'd like to." So I had a lot of Advil in me, Aleve actually, and they wrapped my ankle. But a lot of the dancers have wrapped ankles. They do, and so I could do it, and I continued. I think I lasted 3 more weeks after that, or 3 more dances anyhow, and I had a great time.
After 19 nominations, our next star took home her first daytime Emmy. Might there be a mirror ball in her future? It's TV legend Susan Lucci and her partner Tony Dovolani.
I'm Susan Lucci. I'm an actress, and I'm best known for my part of Erica Kane on All My Children. Being on Dancing with the Stars is giving me this amazing chance to try my wings with dancing.
Stop. Point that foot. Come on, hit it. Stop. Thank you. Yeah.
How many steps forward?
2.
Yeah, well, you went to go backwards just now.
The way you give me the information sounds like you're upset with me that I'm not more powerful.
Possibility. I was trying to get the power out of it.
This injury has been so frustrating because I so strongly want to do well in this competition.
You are far better than you think you are. That's why you can't come out of your shell, because you're criticizing
I have come
yourself.
out of my shell.
You're doing awesome. Let me hear you say that. I want you to say, I'm doing good on this dance. Okay? That's the power I need you to go out there with.
Well, there was nothing timid about that performance. That was your best dance so far.
Thank you.
What you have is a fracture of the bone.
Okay.
Will you be able to dance through the pain?
Part of what's keeping me in a box, personally, this is just me, is that I'm having trouble finding the freedom to bring it to a dance floor.
You want a slot? Yeah, whatever it takes. Thank you. Say it. I'm doing good.
I want you to dance from your heart because you are a lion. Show it. Roar. Okay?
Talk about what happened with Playboy, would you? What happened there? Oh, Playboy asked me to do layout, and I was really flattered, quite frankly. I was very happy that they asked me to do it, but there was no way I was going to actually do it. And so I said that I wasn't going to. Why did you not want to? I'm shy. I guess it comes down to that. And it's never been the kind of thing that has personally turned me on. I would feel really self-conscious, and it's not something I wanted to do.
So here we are at Giraffe Manor. This is our very first place that we're going to shoot anything here in Nairobi, in Kenya, and our first trip to Africa. You can see these are our giraffe right here in the background. We just got here, and here are the giraffe right here.
Well, it was important for me to come because I was so thrilled to be asked to be part of Feed the Children.
Oh, sorry.
I wanted to do something more with the celebrity I've been blessed with.
And here was an opportunity to do something that would help people's lives. Already it's exceeded my expectations. I was so thrilled. I knew this was the opportunity of a lifetime to come to Africa and to come this way. But I was a little bit concerned too because it's so far away. I've never been to Africa before. And already I see the beauty all around me. The people are so warm and the children are so beautiful. And I kissed a giraffe. We just got here. I didn't realize that on a daily basis, Feed the Children feeds over 200,000 children in Kenya. Now these children can grow up because we gave just a little bit of ourselves. I didn't realize what slums looked like until I saw how so many of these children are living and the conditions, and that having that good meal a day, 1 or 2 meals a day, was only going to come with going to school. These schools have been set up by Feed the Children, and so many programs rescuing children who need medical attention and nutrition, so that a 2-year-old who can't walk can be given the care he needs so that he will be able to walk. And his single mother with HIV, who's been disowned by the family because she has HIV, she'll be able to try to find work and be reunited with that baby, who will be stronger and behaving and acting like a 2-year-old. At home, I see things like this on the news, and I think, oh yes, I understand, I do. But not until I came here and saw these children in person and where they live and how they live, I didn't really get it. I thought I did, but I didn't get it till I got here.
The first plane had gone into the first building, and my hairdresser Val and I were talking about how could this be? Such a clear day. The World Trade Center, often the top floors were above the clouds, in the clouds, and we could understand a mistake, but it was hard to imagine on such a clear day what could have gone wrong. So we're discussing how the accident could have happened. And as we were talking, we saw the second plane right on camera. And I said, does anybody else see that? And of course we all stopped, and we did. And we saw it happen. And we said, oh my God, this is not an accident. And then one of the other actors came in. We stood there, just everyone dumbfounded, of course, horrified. And, he turned to me and he said, the world is forever changed. And of course I agreed, we all did. And we were all told that we were in lockdown in this ABC building. We couldn't leave. The airspace was closed. Everything was really frozen. There were no phones. You couldn't get through on any phones either. No cell phones. Everything was shut down. For some reason, the phone in my dressing room worked a little bit longer. And Eden Regal, who played Bianca, her brother lived downtown, and she was hysterical. And she came to my dressing room then, and she was able to reach him, so she knew he was alive. And then the phone was gone. So it was. I remember we were in a big SUV, and we looked back down towards downtown, where the World Trade Center had been, and even on the Upper East Side, getting close to the Triborough Bridge, we could see the smoke going over the Triborough Bridge. We couldn't even look. We couldn't even look. It took me a long time to be able to look. It's awful. And my story is nothing compared to so many.
And something very funny, I know one of your favorite scenes, I think, was the food fight with Adam Chandler that you had. Can we just discuss? Because I don't know what went into something like that. Well, Erica was expecting Jack, and Jack didn't show up. So poor Adam took the brunt of that. But what a thrill to work with David Canary, no matter what the scene.
This is what I love. You guys texted that tape.
I have to take this. A 13-page scene. The crew stayed in at lunchtime. Nobody moved. We kept running this scene because it was 13 pages. And after squeezing the grapes on Adam, we knew we had to get this in one take. Yes. So it was highly choreographed by B.H. Barry, the great Broadway
coordinator of fights.
That's a good
and
scene. That's
yeah,
fun.
so we just
Yeah.
rehearsed. We did it at 9:30 at night. We did it in one take.
Wow. We would call Agnes the good witch because she would write storyline before it was even in the headlines. The legal abortion, of course, had been in the consciousness for a while and in the courts, but Erica had the first legal abortion on television, to my understanding. I believe that that's true. And I grew up Roman Catholic, and I remember at the time going to confession and going to say my penance in a pew, and there were two people sitting at the other end of the pew, but one aisle in front, one set of pews in front, and they saw me, and they were just scandalized. They said, "Oh, there she is. Oh, she's praying. Oh, that's horrible." And they were talking kind of stage whispers. I mean, I could definitely hear them. I think they wanted me to hear it. But it was a time where people took, there weren't as many interview situations. They didn't necessarily separate the actor from the character or the storyline that they were playing, so they were outraged. And people would stop me in elevators in Manhattan and buildings and talk to me about it. It's also a practice for actors to talk about their characters in the first person. So sometimes I'd be in an elevator with other actors and we'd be saying, well, then I had the abortion, and you could just see people who didn't realize it was part of the show.
Was there any trepidation about introducing that storyline?
Not from my point of view. I didn't feel any trepidation. I don't know what Agnes had to go through to get it on the air. I don't know that part. But for me, no, it seemed quite right, what she was writing and trying to accomplish.
Have you always loved me, Mom? Have you? How could you even ask me a question like that? Do you love me now? Bianca, do you? Yes. I'm gay.
Can I just walk over here?
That was really beautiful to watch, and then to watch you all here live, watching it back. It was clearly a very emotional scene.
And it's still very current, you know?
Yes, still very current. I mean, Agnes was always right on the cutting edge, and she fought to tell stories that she thought needed to be told, and that was one of them. It was very near and dear to her heart, and she poured her giant heart into it and told the story with humanity and with respect, and yes, it does still resonate today, and it is still quite moving today.
Yeah, and you presented it with humanity and respect. How much respect you gave to that scene, both of you.
Well, I remember being called into the producer's office at the time, Jean Burke.
Yes.
And Jean told me what storyline they had in mind, that Agnes had written, that she wanted to tell this story. And at the time, we hadn't seen the character of Bianca, and there was no one playing the character because she had not been on the show since she was a very little girl. And they told me the storyline, and the fact that so many teenagers and people in their early 20s who come out to their parents feel that they won't be loved anymore, so they'd rather commit suicide than come out to their parents. And so the producer, Jean, and I both sat there and I thought, and I said, oh my God, what an honor to be part of this storyline. And please just be sure that whoever you cast in the part of Bianca is a young actress who gets it, who really gets it, and who is spectacular. And my goodness, there could be nobody more perfect for this part. Get it.
Susan, how did you do? You had 2 children on the show, didn't you? You were eating bonbons.
Yes, they had Erica eating herself into oblivion to account for their weight gain. Actually, Erica lost one baby when I personally was 5 months pregnant. And there's just so much an actress can do, you know what I mean? I couldn't help it, I kept on growing. So they had all those bonbons.
You've never been anywhere near out there. Stand behind bureaus for a long time.
That's flowers,
a lot of flowers here and there.
A lot of flowers.
Yeah.
And Erica, how old were you when you gave birth to Kendall?
Well, this is supposed to have happened just before the show began. And when I started playing Erica, in 1970. Erica was a 15-year-old high school girl. And I don't know if you remember, there were phone calls with my father and so on, and there were references made to that trip I made just before that. So roughly around 14. But it's a little bit, yes, and I mean, I'm sure that you've been watching. It's quite a fascinating concept. I'm not aware of this having been done before, but Agnes is so ingenious, and she came up with this story that was history, that then Erica was keeping this secret all this time. Because she was raped as a little girl, really.
Where did you get the necklace?
Say that.
No, that's been on. That's been on the air. Mona stole that. Mona again. If I couldn't have a secret, even if I wanted it.
Tell us.
You two, you got something amazing. He picked up on that hint you dropped during the ransom message. I didn't hint at anything. You said the word quarry twice. You told Jack and the gang where you are, just like I thought you would. You set me up. I know you, remember?
Okay, so Erica, kidnapped Erica. Fascinating. This is the first time I've ever been asked to do something like this, and this is not a twin. It's a very contemporary storyline about identity theft.
Yes.
That could be done in modern times, like All About Eve, if it were done now.
Wow.
This woman doesn't just want Erica Kane's credit cards. I mean, she wants those too, but she wants the glamour and the glitz and the life. She wants the red carpet, the jewelry, and the men. Very much she wants.
And we see people do that all the time where they start to look like Barbie dolls or whatever.
Exactly. So it's a very contemporary identity theft.
Well, I certainly loved all of the modeling. When Erica was young and in New York, all around the Metropolitan Museum, the fountain in front of the plaza, Lincoln Center, all of that. I loved all of that aspect of Erica's life. The scenes that we submitted that I actually wound up winning the Emmy for were some of the best scenes ever. Of a little girl, Bianca, who had an eating disorder, and Erica dealing with that. Gosh, there are so many storylines. I mean, I even loved being in that cave at 11 o'clock at night, shooting when they threw dirt on Erica. And I don't know, it was such a fun experience with the crew, and they were so great. I mean, one of the crew was not even feeling well. Gee, this was when we moved to LA, and she had the idea that if she got this other boulder, it would make it even look better, and she did. She went and got a boulder. I mean, you know, these are wonderful, wonderful times as a creative company altogether. I loved all the stuff with David Canary always. I would say there's only one I didn't like so much, when Erica was married to Phil Brent, when she finally got him away from Tara. He had come back from Vietnam, and he wanted her to be barefoot and pregnant, basically. And he kept tearing out ads from the newspapers about houseplant sales and things like this. And Erica was just not very domestic, and it didn't seem that it was right for her. But it wasn't, you know, and that became part of the storyline.
But you said you didn't like it?
No, that was one of the things I didn't. It was not so much fun.
Oh, because of.
Yeah, it was just very in that dreary apartment set and all that. In fact, it's interesting because Erica was so busy all the time, and I had many, many scenes with so many people, and I mean, I loved working with Jimmy Mitchell, who played Palmer Cortland, and all of that interaction. But there were times there was so much volume to memorize every day. You'd think, gee, doesn't Erica get tired? Doesn't Erica just lay down and be quiet just for one day? But then there were times where Erica would be in the hospital unconscious, and I really did not enjoy it because it was very isolating. You know, it was I would rather interact with the other actors and play the scenes. So, you know, be careful what you wish for.
Susan Lucci, who was the worst actor you ever worked with on All My Children?
Yeah, I'm pleading the fifth.
I knew it. That was the one. Okay.
this ride of fame here in New York City, a city that is so close to your heart?
It certainly is. As I said earlier, I mean, this would be an honor in any city, but the fact that it's in New York City, which, as far as I'm concerned, is and I'm not the only one who would say this, the greatest city in the world. My parents would take me to Radio City for the Christmas show, and my mother would take me to Broadway plays. I mean, I dreamed all my dreams around Broadway in New York. I've spent most of my adult life working in New York. When all my children, Pine Valley was actually in New York.
Well, you certainly have some fun and very eclectic and interesting fans. What is the craziest thing that a fan has ever done for you?
When I wasn't winning the Emmy, all those years, there were so many incredible warm gestures. And after I won, stopping at a red light and having a fire truck of New York City firemen stop next to me, look down in the back and see me, and all give me a thumbs up. These are some pretty wonderful memories.
Sandwiched in between two little packages of beauty, I just don't know what to do.
This body is insane. Now, this is not all from Dancing with the Stars. You've always had a great body.
I knew I liked you, Kelly.
Do you think it took you to another level?
It definitely did. And getting ready for Dancing with the Stars, I really was working on Pilates a lot. With Dancing with the Stars, after dancing, I was never in better shape in my entire life.
Right.
And felt so happy. Imagine dancing, music, and then you're in good shape.
So now, though, you are moving to LA. The whole show is moving to LA. Talk about that. That's a big deal.
The whole show, All My Children, is going to be moving to LA. We just found out at All My Children the night before last, and since then we've been shooting a dance marathon.
At All My Children.
At All My Children.
See, that's what they do. They get you when you're exhausted, and then like, and we'll be moving to LA in the winter. Who wants popcorn?
So it's something that all of us are walking around, you know, saying, is that right? Did you hear that right? Did we hear this? Are we really moving to LA? So the show is moving to LA. It certainly is a huge vote of confidence from the network to say that All My Children is such a terrific show, and they really want to now give us more space for our sets and to the writing, everything to be expansive, and that's terrific. But for everybody involved, big decisions have to be made, and it's just been a day and a half that I've known about this. So you wake up in the morning and you're thinking one thing, and you think, oh, it's like the pebble in the water, you know. Oh, well then if I do this, well then that. So there's lots to be considered.
Are you ready to go? You're such a New York girl.
I'm a New Yorker, and I love New York. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my mind around it.
You have to go. I mean, like, they're not gonna have the show without you. Or unless they shoot you in New York and put you in a little box in the corner of the screen.
Thank you. I love All My Children. Clearly I love All My Children, and I want very, very much to be able to. I just don't know how yet. It's brand new, but I'm starting a vacation tomorrow, and I'll have a little time to, you know, to not make a breathless decision, but just like kind of think about it calmly. And frankly, I'm one of the lucky ones who gets to even think about it, because there'll be people here, you know, in New York who won't be coming with us, and so part of our family won't.
In January, it'll make 40 years for you on that show.
It will. Don't count your chickens.
I'm not counting my chickens.
She was 3 when she started.
I was thinking it was 2.
She was a baby. She was a baby actor on the show.
Thank you.
So that's why.
It's amazing. The numbers are huge, and I don't know where the time's gone, but I've been having such a good time.
I was shocked. I didn't see it coming at all. There had been a couple of rumors, but I didn't believe them, and I could see that the company of actors and the crew was feeling a little demoralized, because the work was enormous amount of work. The volume of work that we were doing on a daily basis was enormous, and the hours were very long, and they were getting demoralized. And I had just released the book that I had written, and it became a New York Times bestseller. And the reason I say that here is because when we launched it, it was at Barnes & Noble on Fifth Avenue in New York, and as most actors feel. It's like, what if nobody comes, you know? It's like, oh my goodness. Well, the line was around the block. And it was like that no matter what city I went to on the book tour. But because I was on the book tour, I saw all these fans, the Mall of America, you know, that rotunda 3 stories up. So I could go back to the studio and say, I think it's just a rumor. Believe me, our fabulous, passionate, loyal fans are there for us, just the way they were last year and the year before and always have been. They are there. I'm sure it's a rumor. Then I got a call, early one, I mean really early, because our calls were early at the studio, but it was Agnes calling me from New York. All my children had already moved to Los Angeles. And Agnes called me to give me a heads up. She had been told by her son, Bobby, at 2 o'clock in the morning, New York time, that that probably All My Children was going to be canceled, and not to be surprised if I didn't get a call that day when I went into work. That the head of ABC Daytime and our producer would probably call me into our producer's office. And I went to work, and sure enough, I was called into the office, and Julie and our producer and the man who had been the head of ABC Daytime he told me. They sat me down, I was between them, and he told me that All My Children was going to be canceled, as well as One Life to Live. When, you know, he sat me down and told me that the show was going to be canceled, I found the nerve, you know, to ask what would we be replaced with. And he said a show that would be 40% less to produce, so that it was a financial decision. And I remember feeling so kind of, you know, like the wind taken out of me, because I really didn't see it coming. I was going around the country assuring everybody that the show was doing well, because they had just brought back Agnes Nixon and would allow her back in, and our head writer, Lorraine Broderick. So the show was in such good shape at that point, and I just couldn't believe it. Anyway, then I went downstairs with Julie, our executive producer, to the studio floor, where apparently they had asked everyone to be assembled, and there was an announcement made simultaneously with the group in New York, although this was being done from LA. And we could see on the monitors the group at One Life to Live in New York were getting the news at the same time we were. And that's how we found out. That's just how we found out. And it was very, very sad. Everyone was so sad. You know, people lost jobs that they loved, and livelihoods, and, you know, benefits, health insurance, and, you know, people had moved from one end of the country to the next and taken their children out of school here and put their little children in school there, and it just didn't seem right, because the fans were there. And the fans were so fantastic. You asked me about our fans. The fans were so vocal, so upset that they were taking All My Children off the air, that they crashed the computer system at ABC, the main switchboard. And I had been told this, and I had been told that there was a recording that if you called ABC, the recording said, to register a complaint about All My Children being canceled, press whatever number. For all other ABC business, press that. Wow. Since then, after that, right after that, when I would go to meet different people at the executive offices, they would say to me how fantastic the fans had been, and that no one had ever seen anything like this, that the All My Children fans were so vocal.
But that didn't change anything?
It didn't change anything, unfortunately. It did not change anything. But I'll tell you the best thing I heard, because as I said, I was doing the book tour. I came back to New York and was doing a book signing, and people would come through, you know, and ask me then to sign their books. And this one man came through, and I was signing his book, and he said, you know, Susan, they tell us that cotton is the fabric of our lives, but really, it's all my children.
The time has come for Susan Lucci to plead the fifth. Here we go. I think I know you so well that I think that I know which one you're going to plead the fifth to. Okay, Susan, do you blame Real Housewives and other reality shows for causing the cancellation of All My Children and other soap operas?
No, not at all.
good. Okay.
Thank you.
The Daytime Emmy Awards were just announced today, and our show is up for various awards.
Absolutely,
We've been
congratulations.
disappointed many times, so we don't celebrate. In any event,
I know that feeling.
I know. All My Children was just nominated for 13 Daytime Emmys, including Best Drama. Wait. The show is nominated. You are not.
I know.
What else is new?
It's okay. It's okay. This show has been canceled, but we're going out with a bang, not a whimper. Right. And how great to have 13 nominations and all of your wonderful excitement. It's great. And Agnes Nixon is a tiger, and she is writing along with Lorraine Broderick, who's our new head writer. Fantastic story. So we turn this lemon into lemonade and give a gift back to all of you who have been so fantastic.
It's incredible, and just to give you an idea, there are many tribute issues and tribute things coming out in quite mainstream members of the press. Last week when there was that press tour here and there were about 30 reporters here, one of those men has an online radio show, and he just mentioned during the course of his radio show that he was going to come by All My Children. He got 500,000 responses, 500,000 emails in 1 week.
Whoa.
So I just wanted to share that information with all of you because that's pretty darn incredible. And beyond that, I just wanted to say how impressed I am, how bowled over I am that at this late hour in our show, that the quality of the writing is so passionate and so incredible. What I've seen in the last several days of shooting, the last week of shooting, is that even now, Agnes and Lorraine are breaking new ground in the way we tell story, how we tell the story. They're introducing new characters. I'm still having fittings. And so we go forward. And as impressed as I am with that, I have to tell you I was the lucky recipient of a phone call from Agnes over the weekend telling me that she just felt she had to tweak some dialogue in the last show because somehow it just didn't seem quite right to her. And she did it, and it's magnificent. It was already magnificent, but this is such a creative genius who we are all so fortunate to be collaborating with.
Yes.
The most asked question since the announcement of our show going off the air has been, what does it feel like at All My Children? What is it like now to be at All My Children? And my answer has been, it's as if nothing was ever said, because this group of professionals shows up every day and does their work with a beautiful attitude and their creative juices. Everybody is still working on all cylinders. I am so proud to be associated with you. And I thank all of you, each and every one of you, because it's the creative input from everybody in this room that has made All My Children the giant that it is. So,
we're proud of you. We're proud of you.
Susan, I mean, this has been your journey. That's 41 years. And what's it like sort of to be back and to be with us again?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for doing this special tribute. I know, only just beginning. I mean, this is incredible. Thank you so much.
Works early in the show.
It's a celebration of a wonderful show, but I thank you all so much for doing this special tribute to All My Children. And this is the building where we shot All My Children most of those 41 years. Right. And the emotions, it's an emotional time, very happy time, so much to be grateful for. But coming back here today was very touching to me, and I'm so thrilled to be here and so thrilled to see all of you here. Thank you very much for being in the audience.
Susan, keep those tears in because you look beautiful. You keep the tears in. We just want to celebrate you. But I mean, there was a woman here holding up, a doll of you. We have seen you. Yes, this that doll.
That All My Children was canceled. Are you pissed?
Yes, absolutely, in a word, yeah. And so do the fans seem to be really, I mean, they're on fire. And that's good. That makes us feel good.
I heard that the calls are coming in, the letters, the emails, the Twittering is going berserk over this?
It is. And some sponsors have left the network, actually.
Really?
Yes, and
wow.
I should say one sponsor left for sure, and others are having conversations, but I don't want to get into that so much, just that the fans have been so passionate. I'm so glad that I wrote the book before there was ever even a rumor about the show being canceled. I wrote this book, poured my heart and soul into it, not in response to anything other than just a real memoir, you know, really taking the audience with me on a ride. What I don't understand is that both shows that were put off ABC are Agnes Nixon's shows, and I find that very hard to come to terms with.
Why, do you think it was personal?
Oh, I don't know. I will never know. I bet I will never. I don't think we'll ever know the answer. The question I asked when I was told that our show was being canceled, I was told by the head of ABC Daytime, and I asked him, because we were just in a room, I was told 5 minutes before the company, before it was announced. And
wow, really?
Yes, and I thought, well, I'm sitting here now, I would be remiss if I didn't ask, may I ask what you're going to replace us with? And I was told with a reality show that costs 40% less to produce. So since that's the answer that I was given, I have to think that we are being put off the air because something else is less expensive. But it's a bottom line.
Let me ask you something. I just thought of it. You're on television. You said you lived your life on television.
My whole adult life.
For 40 years. Is there an addiction to television at this point? To being on television?
I don't think so. I wondered about that too. I wondered, a lot of things went through my mind after the announcement was made to be canceled. You know, would there be an addiction to television? Would I feel I had nowhere to go? You know, because it's been so focused, and I live a very big schedule, and so on. And somehow, no, I don't feel that. I know that I am a performer down to my toes. It's who I have been since I was a baby, and that's all there in the book. It's just who I am. So I hope somebody gives me a place to do it.
What I think changed the American audience's appetite for reality was the O.J. Simpson trial.
Ooh,
I think we were all so addicted to watching that, and that was the first thing I remember as being real.
Yeah.
We were watching it as it unfolded.
Yeah.
And it was addicting.
Yeah.
And so much of our audience, our American people were addicted to this.
Yeah.
And I think that was the beginning of an appetite for, let's see let's see reality.
We call it ratchetness now. You know. And let me go on the record. I don't think all reality TV is garbage. I just don't like a lot of the exploitation and the sensationalism
I agree.
And that you see taking place on the screen. We were talking off air. When women don't just all of a sudden in the lunch, you know, at brunch, jump over on tables and start scratching each other eyeballs out, right? Do y'all? I mean, I don't know.
No.
Okay, I don't know what y'all do at brunch. I don't do that.
No, and in a scripted show, you're in the hands of some artistry and some storytelling.
Yeah.
And so when somebody does leap across a table, the audience has had a chance to grow with this story, you know, and see what the background is and see what leads up to it. I mean, if you just watch everybody leaping to strangle each other, it's sort of like the payoff without the build-up.
Yeah.
Always better with the build-up. And All My Children, on Devious Maids, things come out of character.
Yeah.
You know, good writers, things come out of character. They're not just events.
It's an art.
Yeah, well, there was the day we found out that we were going to have a last day, and that was a terrible day. Just a terrible day. And then we still had to do, I think, 2 more months of working there, which we were all happy to do because we loved what we did. But the last day, it was all very, very bittersweet. Hard to wrap for myself. I mean, I had been there from the very, very beginning in 1970. And it was very hard for me to really understand that it was coming to an end. And in fact, I wondered if, well, I knew they really meant it, that it was ending. But I thought maybe the powers that be would change and they would realize they should bring it back because, and shouldn't really be over, because every indication from the fans was that they were just as passionate and there for us as they had ever been.
We're in the library. This is exactly right here where I watched the final episodes of All My Children and closed the doors. I really needed to watch by myself. I think I went through all the different phases of mourning. I think there was denial, there was anger. I was shaken to the core professionally, and I thought, will I ever work again? Will anybody ever hire me again? Lucky me. I met Mark Cherry, who created Desperate Housewives and who's created this amazing new show called Devious Maids. Mark asked me to come and audition for the part of Genevieve Delatour. I have been having the best time shooting this show. Mark's writing is incredible. And now people are stopping me in the airport and saying, Genevieve, aren't you on Devious Maids? Genevieve, I love you. I loved you under the bed. You know, great stuff.
I'm not going back to therapy.
But we were making progress.
You spent the whole hour flirting to make the therapist like you.
I wasn't flirting. I'm naturally adorable. If you have a problem with that, take it up with God.